All right, so for today, I'm going to take you through and briefly touch on some of the challenges that we're currently seeing around the industry for collaboration within design teams. I'll explain what a common data environment is and how document management works in it. We'll see how the Autodesk Construction Cloud and Autodesk Docs are a great example of this solution. We will focus on the capabilities of Autodesk Docs for enabling design collaboration within AutoCAD and empowering designers to leverage file storage on the cloud. And at the end, we'll have some time to answer any questions you might have, so please feel free to use the Q&A box. A very common setup for offices is to have a local server or multiple servers for all data management and storage. These servers are also accessed by field collaborators and remote team members, generating sometimes VPN tunnels. While these configurations tend to work reasonably well, we might run into some connectivity issues from time to time, not to mention lagging and bottlenecks caused by simultaneous demanding requests from multiple users to the servers. A common data environment, or simply a CDE, is a digital hub where information comes together as part of a typical building information modeling or project workflow. The Autodesk Construction Cloud provides a common data environment and a single source of truth for project documentation of all types. The most accurate and up-to-date information is easily accessible for all project partners that need to be involved across all departments, field or office, internal or external. This is all one unified environment for your project data. Autodesk Construction Cloud is very similar to widely available document collaboration tools. What makes it an industry preferred solution is that the Autodesk Construction Cloud can host and view more than 80 different file types, including DWGs and RBTs from within the platform. In addition, users can leverage other tools on the ACC to enhance their productivity. All project files are stored in servers maintained by Autodesk and allow users to access the data directly instead of through VPN connections. This ensures that all project stakeholders are working with the most up-to-date information in real time and with unlimited storage, greatly reducing risk of outdated documentation and faulty connections. The Autodesk Construction Cloud connects data, workflows, and teams throughout the entire building lifecycle, from design to operations across the headquarters, the office, and the job site. The portfolio includes Autodesk BIM Collaborate, Autodesk Build, and Autodesk Takeoffs, which are all served and powered by Autodesk Docs on the document management side. Built on a uniform platform and common data environment, these modules empower general contractors, specialty trades, designers, and owners to drive better business outcomes. With that, I'll go into a little bit more detail around Autodesk Docs. Let's start with a quick refresher on what Autodesk Docs is. Autodesk Docs is a central file repository which stores all project relevant data and allows reviews directly in the browser without the need of downloading the file and opening it in another platform. Docs is designed to be used with the entire project team, including internal and external stakeholders, and therefore it has a comprehensive access and permission control which works on a folder basis and allows things like rule-based, company-based, or individual control of access. We will also take a look at that later on during our workflow demo. Any document in the Autodesk Docs CDE is automatically versioned, which also allows the visual comparison of documents in 2D and 3D, and to easily follow up on design changes. Office 360 integration allows the direct viewing and editing of Microsoft Office documents in the viewer. Review and approval workflows can be fully customized to your own requirements and are easy to set up and use. And finally, issues, markups, and tasks can be set up in a range of 2D and 3D documents throughout the platform and allow for complete project communication. The status of issues can be tracked at any time, and the full communication and history around the issue is directly linked to the issue, pinpointed in the plan or in the model. Let's take a look now at some of the new features that are offered in Autodesk Docs. So we have a very exciting new tool, which is the specifications tool. With this tool, users can publish specifications and access up-to-date changes to these specs throughout the project. We also have new features for files. We have new AutoCAD integration, so we will take a look at later on in our demo. Again, we have the publish to specifications tool directly from files. We have expanded access to the holding area, and we can now filter our files to look who updated it last. We also have new features on the reviews tool. We have the Now, initiators can enable other candidates to edit these reviews, and we can optimize the review notification by creating notification groups. We also have new features on the markups with some improvements on the mobile app. We also have an enhanced model viewer for 3D files. And for the transmittals workflows, we can now send transmittal notifications to the sender. So if I am starting a transmittal, I can make sure I get the same email that my colleagues are getting. And we can also show companies, an entire company, as a recipient of a transmittal. So that helps a lot with time saving. Now let's take a look at AutoCAD. As you know, AutoCAD is a computer-aided design software that is used for precise 2D and 3D drafting, design and modeling with solids, surfaces, mesh objects, documentation features, and more. It includes features to automate tasks and increase productivity, such as comparing drawings, counting, adding objects, and creating tables. It also comes with 7 industry-specific toolsets for electrical design, plant design, architectural layout drawings, mechanical design, 3D mapping, adding scanned images, and converting raster images. AutoCAD enables users to create, edit, and annotate drawings via desktop, web, and mobile devices. These are some of the new features that are included with AutoCAD 2025. Very exciting new features, specifically for Autodesk Docs. As we can see here, we have sync markups now directly on Docs, so we can create markups and red lines in Docs and bring them in directly to our AutoCAD drawing. We're also going to see that in our demo. We also have the activity insights enhanced for Autodesk Docs, so any changes that occur in the cloud will be accessible via AutoCAD, and we can review these changes without having to open the drawing. We also have enhancements for the project navigator in Autodesk Docs and the way that we access these files via AutoCAD. Another very exciting feature that we have is the one that you are seeing at your screen, which is the improvements to the hatch command. We can now create hatches without the need of a previous boundary. We also have very exciting features that are related to Autodesk AI, mostly for blocks with search and convert and object detection. And we also have new maps for the ArcGIS system. With that, let's dive into the design collaboration process with AutoCAD and Autodesk Docs. This workflow involves 4 main stages. The first one is the prepare. The first steps are creating our project, inviting all the required members, setting permissions, and creating the main folder structure. For the collaboration process, the second step is installing. So we need to, in order for the process to work seamlessly, it is important to keep all the applications up to date with the latest updates and hotfixes available. Once we've started our project, we have the latest versions available, we can move forward with our design process, which is the third step, collaborating effortlessly with our teammates. And last but not least, the manage stage is very important. And as our project develops, we can leverage the tools available in Autodesk Docs to communicate changes, track issues, and send the most updated information in real time to all our stakeholders. We're going to explore each stage in depth, starting with prepare. For preparing our project, we're going to dive into the project creation, project administration, and user permissions, and last but not least, the folder structure. We're going to take a look at this process in depth through our workflow demo. As we mentioned earlier, in order for the design collaboration process to work efficiently and adequately, AutoCAD and Desktop Connector must be updated to the latest versions available for all project team members. Additionally, the Autodesk Docs integration is available in AutoCAD 2022 and all subsequent releases, 2023, 2024, and now 2025. This means that to leverage the most out of this tool, design teams must be using at least AutoCAD 2022. The reason for this is the file locking tool, which is now included and eliminates the need for the previous plugin required in earlier versions. The file locking tool is what alerts other users that a team member is currently working on a file, and thus this file cannot be edited simultaneously. To access the latest version of your Autodesk products, sign in to manage.autodesk.com with your credentials and select the software you want to update. Aside from AutoCAD, Desktop Connector is an integral part of the collaboration process, and the latest version can also be downloaded from manage.autodesk.com. On your screen, you see the latest version for AutoCAD 2023, AutoCAD 2024, and AutoCAD 2025, as well as Desktop Connector. We will now take a few minutes to explain what the Desktop Connector is and the vital function it plays in this design collaboration process. Desktop Connector is the tool that allows you to access and work with your cloud data from your local machine. When you install Desktop Connector, local drives are added as connectors to your Windows File Explorer to enable you to work on files locally. Your cloud project folder and file structures are replicated in the relevant connector for your data source. You can manage files in a connector just as you would in any other folder in File Explorer. Changes made in a connector are automatically synced to the cloud data source. In this case, the cloud data source is Autodesk Docs. During our workflow demo, we're going to go over the process of updating our files, working with our cloud storage DWGs in a day-to-day task, such as using Extras, blocks, and the Sheet Set Manager. We will also see how, as we work on our cloud storage files, these are automatically saved in our previously determined folder structure. Once our project is ongoing, we can review and compare different versions of our published sets, create and track issues, and send documents and information to project members and stakeholders, all within the same common data environment of Autodesk Docs. We are now ready to take a look at our workflow demo and explore our platform and see how Autodesk Docs can help us collaborate via AutoCAD. The first thing that I'm going to show you is the preparing phase, or how do we get started by creating our projects. So as we can see here, I am in the landing page of the Autodesk Construction Cloud. I'm going to click on Create Project, and I'm going to show you how we go about creating our project today. So I'm going to create a single family residence sample project. Very important that I need to give my project a name, and I need to choose an account. I also need to choose a project type. So I'm going to look here in the list for single family residence or housing. I can also add an address to my project. This will come in handy later on for locating my project. Just going to choose a fictional address here. And then I can also set up a starting date and a completion date for my project. We're going to go to May 2025 for that and do May 1st. And I can also give my project a value. Only the fields that are marked with a red star are required. The rest you can fill in later. After my project is created, I'm going to land in my members page. Very important that I activate Autodesk Docs for myself and any other members that I add, and then I give myself a role. I give myself the role of architect, and I'm a project administrator. So now I'm ready to start adding other colleagues to this project. So I'm going to add my colleague Pug Villegas here. And I'm also going to add Jim as part of this project. So once they are here, I want to make sure they have access to the products that they need. They have the right role and the right access level. And I just want to make sure Docs is included in this list of products. And then I want to check both the names and send the invitations. Now they will get a notification and they will be automatically added to my project. Once this process is completed, I can go ahead into Docs and I can see here my folder structure. You can see this folder structure is empty because we have not added any folders yet. So we're going to start doing that. We're going to start adding some folders to my project files folder. So I'm going to start with models and drawings. Then I'm going to create my second folder, which is management. So this is the typical folder structure that we use for our projects, sample projects, but you can customize this to look like your folder structure. So here are the rest of my folders. And I'm just going to add other couple of subfolders into my models and drawing files, one for each of my teams. So the architectural team gets a folder. The structural team or consultant gets another folder. To add a subfolder, all we have to do is right-click on the three dots at the end of the folder name. And we can add an unlimited number of subfolders. Also, we can set permissions through clicking on those three dots, just by selecting permissions and adding roles. So I'm going to add Jim here. And I'm going to give Jim permission to edit the content of all the folders. The parent folder will always be, will always overwrite the child folder. So if Jim has permissions here in the project files folder, he has permissions for all the folders inside of that one. Now for this folder here, where I will save my sets, I'm going to show you how you can very quickly set permissions for everyone in the project just by typing everyone. And now I'm going to make sure that everyone has permission to at least view these sets. Everyone is everyone in your team and everyone that you add after this is done. So now that we are done setting up our folder structure and setting up the permissions in our folder structure, we're ready to move on to the next part and showing you how to add your files. So the first thing that I'm going to show you is after we download Desktop Connector, how do we go ahead and activate the project that we just created in our computer. So we go here to the tray and we click on the Desktop Connector icon. We're going to click here on this gear icon on the upper right corner, and we're going to click on Select Projects. We're going to see here a list of accounts. We're going to go to the proper account, and we're going to see here a list of all the projects that we are part of. We're going to select the project that we just created a few minutes ago, the single family residence sample project, and we're going to click on Save here. You can see Autodesk projects connected. We can click OK. And now we're going to bring our folders explorer to the view just to show you how by clicking here on this Autodesk Docs, I click here on my account and I can see I already have a folder for my project files, and all the folders that we just created are all here on my folder structure. I click on architectural and I can see other folders in here as well. And we can access our files and add files through here too. So I'm going to show you how to add files first through the website. Click here on upload and we choose some files. Now I'm only going to choose 4 of these, the first 4, because I want to show you the different ways of adding files. This is only one of them. So I'm going to open those 4 files and they're going to be processed in the background. Click OK, they're going to keep processing and you're going to see how they start populating. You can navigate out of this page and come back later and your files will continue to process in the background. But these will process fairly quickly because these are not very heavy files. As you can see, you get a confirmation on the upper right corner of your files. So we're going to add another one here in the civil team so that we can use this file that I'm adding as an extra later. You just click done and it'll populate here in a few seconds. So now I'm going to show you how you add files directly from your computer. I'm bringing back the folders. So here on the left, I have a folder in my computer, and on the right, I have the folder of the project via Autodesk Docs. So I'm going to go into my architectural folder. I'm going to add the rest of my drawings here simply by copying and pasting my files or moving them, dragging and dropping them. Can also work. But I'm just going to copy and paste them here. And they will going to be processed and added to the cloud. Now, if I go back to the cloud, you can see all my files are here, the ones that I added via upload and the ones that I added directly through my computer. Now that we have added our files, let's take a look how do we interact with these files in AutoCAD, and how do we collaborate with the rest of our team members. So we're in AutoCAD. We are in our start page. We're going to go to Autodesk Projects and we're going to make sure we are in the right account. We're going to click on our project here, project files. And as you can see, all of my folders are here, as well as all of my files. So if I want to open one of my files, all I have to do is click on it, but I can also see when the file is locked. You can see here the file A001 is locked by myself. Now, if I click here on my ground floor plan, You can see AutoCAD is going to work exactly the same. The only difference is where your file is stored. I have my layout here with my title block. So the next thing that I'm going to show you is how do I add an XREF that is a file that lives in Autodesk Docs. So very similar process. I open up my external reference manager. You can see I have some reference here that I want to detach. And this file that we're looking at is stored in Autodesk Docs. So we're going to add another one now. So I open up my folder explorer to look for my file directly in Autodesk Docs. As you're seeing here, I go through the same process of looking through my account, my project, my folders until I get to the file that I want to add as an XREF. So we're going to add that civil drawing here as an XREF for the site plan. I'm going to click on open. It brings in the same dialog. Importantly, we add it as an overlay, and importantly that it is a relative path. The rest of them, the scale and where we want to insert it, we can do that according to our workflows. So I'm going to press here, and you're going to see how it behaves exactly as an XREF will behave. Again, the only difference is where your files are stored. The rest of the workflows are the same. So we're going to put this reference where we want it to, and we're all set. As you can see here, this behaves exactly as an XREF. I can access the layers in my XREFs as well. And you can see here the path where the XREF is located is in Autodesk Docs. So I save my drawing and I can continue to work. Now I'm going to show you how to create a sheet set in the cloud. So I'm going to open a blank drawing for that. And I'm just going to type here sheet set to open up the sheet set manager. And I'm going to create a new sheet set. I'm going to select a cloud example sheet set, which is the last option here. I'm going to click next. And as you can see here, the process is fairly similar. I just have to make sure I choose my template for my sheet set. I can also select where I want my sheet set to be stored. So very importantly, I want it to be stored, or my sheet set file rather. I'm going to choose again my project, my account, then my project on the list here. So same project, single family residence sample project. I go through my folders until I go select my folder for the sets where I want my sheet set file to live. And last but not least, I have to give my sheet set a name. So this will be single family residence. And again, sample project. I just click next. And I can see just very briefly information about what my sheet set's going to look like. If I have to add any information here, client, project address, and very importantly, all the subsets that I have. And just like that, my sheet set is created. I can check here where my sheets are going to go once I start adding sheets. So just to double check here that our sets are going into the right folder, we click here and we get into the same dialog where we can see the folders and the project. We can again choose the sets folder if you want to double check and click select. And you can see there it says where it goes. Same for the architectural set and the structural set. So now I'm going to show you how to import some of the layouts that we have in our sheets and folders in AutoCAD. So all we have to do is choose our files. We're going to choose all of them by pressing the shift key on our keyboard, click select. It'll process and it'll extract the layouts of all of your drawings stored in the Autodesk Docs project. You can see here all the layouts that it found. So I'm going to choose all of them, but you can choose the ones that you need. And click on import and all of them will be imported. You can see here I get a little confirmation saying import sheet succeeded. So I have now all of my sheets here added to my sheet set directly from Autodesk Docs. Now, if I want to publish these to PDF, all I have to do is select that option. And I can select whether this is going to be a single multi-page PDF or a separate PDFs for each. I'm going to choose a single one this time. I'm going to choose the option to overwrite any existing files that have the same name. And then I can choose the destination of my PDF. So this is in the right folder, the sets folder. I'm going to click publish and it'll take a few seconds to load. see how it says now publish in progress and publish PDFs are ready and uploaded. So I go into my website and I can see here I have my set and I have my single PDF. And then I click on. Now that we have our files and PDFs in here, I just want to show you some of the things we can do with those files. So also how we can add some markups and import them to AutoCAD. So the first thing that I have to do with this sheet is calibrate it. Make sure that it's up to scale. So I choose the 2-point calibration method. I click on 2 points here in my drawing. Preferably, I like to do this with the dimensions so that I know exactly what dimension I'm choosing. In this case, the 15 feet and 9 inches. So all I have to do is type 15 feet and 9 inches and select my precision and create and publish. Now my sheet has been calibrated and I can measure in it. So if I measure here, it should be 15 feet and 9 inches. So that gives me confirmation, and I can also publish this dimension for others to see. Now I'm going to add some revision clouds in the storage closet and some notes. Make sure I have all the editing that I need to do before I publish it or add any reference. I can add referencing here other files that are in my project already, even other drawings, other sheets, or even specifications. So I published that. I also I'm going to add some text here. So I want these shells to be removed. You can add your text. Here, remove the shells. And again, we can format the way that this looks. The color doesn't necessarily have to be red, the size. We place it and we publish it to make sure it is visible for other team members. And let me just add some more here. I'm going to add where I want these shelves to go instead. Just make sure I have the same formatting for all of my redlining. And again, just adding some more text, some more context for the person that will review this drawing. I'm just going to say add shells here. And we can format it again, the size, the color. So once I know all my markups are published and ready, I can transfer this directly into AutoCAD simply by clicking here, sync markups to AutoCAD. I can select who I'm sending this to. So I'm going to select myself, Jim, and Pook, my colleagues. And I can add some comments like please review. And I can just hit send. And I'm going to show you how now I get an email notification indicating that I've shared, Maria Damas has shared markups with me. Jim and Pook also got the same email. So now I can import these markups to AutoCAD by clicking here. It'll open a tab on my browser. Then I have to click here just to make sure I'm opening AutoCAD. And I get this dialog here. Now my drawing is open and I'm ready to import my markups here. So this is the same drawing that we had in the website. I'm going to just close the Sheetset Manager just to have more space here. And now I'm ready to continue importing markup. I click on this dialog and it's going to take a few seconds to process. Now I have to make sure I hit accept to place it in the right location. So if it looks good, I can hit accept. And my markups that I just created online are in my drawing in AutoCAD. So I can address these right away. And when the changes are ready, all I have to do is save my drawing and send it back. So now I'm going to show you the activity insights and how I can see what has happened in a drawing without opening it. So as you can see, all the changes to these drawings are displayed in the activity insights dialog, which is on the right side of the screen. And I am looking at these lists without opening these drawings. You can see at the top, I don't have any drawing open at the moment in AutoCAD. I can even see the versions whenever it was saved, and I can filter through who made the changes. In this case, you're only going to see my name. You're also going to filter through the different type of activities. So right now I can see there has been 7 different versions of this drawing so far. So those are just some of the workflows that we can do in AutoCAD when we have our drawings in the cloud. I wanted to make sure I showed you guys this because sometimes we get some questions as to what happens to my files in the cloud. Do I get the same workflows? Do I get access to the same tools? Does AutoCAD work the same? And the answer to all of those is yes, AutoCAD is going to work the same. The only difference is where your files are stored. So now let's take a look at what we can do also with those files and PDFs that we just created on Autodesk Docs and the website. So I'm going to go here into my set of drawings. I'm going to click on it and show it to you. This is the set that we previously published from the Sheet Set Manager. Look at all my sheets here. Also layers. I can go through them. I can review them. I can add notes and markups, and I can compare different versions of my sheet. So I'm going to compare two versions of the ground floor sheet, version number 3 and version number 1. And I can quickly know what changes have been made so far just by toggling between the two. I can also move around each color just to know what is different. So imagine the possibilities. If you've been perhaps away with some PTO or you were just added to a project, you can very quickly get up to speed with this tool. I'm also going to show you quickly the new specifications tool and how we set it up. So I'm going to add some specs here to the project very quickly. I've previously uploaded this specs file into my files in the project. So I'm just going to look here for that file in the specifications folder. I'm going to click on it. And you can see here, I have to create a version set because there might be changes later on. So I'm going to add it to number 1. I have to choose an issuance date and a date that I received this specs document. I'm going to choose last Friday. And now that I'm ready, I can see next here in details. Very important, you have to choose the format for our specs and the location of our project. So after it reviews the document, it automatically detects all the sections. You can see here the intro page is not included. So very quickly, I can add it to the general requirements section just by changing the pages. And I just go through my list one more time just to make sure all my sections look good. And now I can click on Publish the Specifications. And it says here, it can take up to 15 minutes depending on the size, but you can just click on Continue to Background and it'll publish in the background. You can monitor it here. And if you click on the specifications, it'll tell you when it's done. You can see all my specs are here and listed, and I can start referencing these in my project as I work on my drawings. Now I'm going to show you how to create a review, just to send it with or share it with your colleagues. First, before we create a review, we have to make sure we create an approval workflow for that review. So we have different options to choose from here. And I'm just going to choose the 2-step approval because that works better for this project. But again, you can choose any of these. So I'm just going to give it a name, 2-step process. I can choose who initiates this review. So in this case, I'm going to choose myself. And then I can say who's the first reviewer for this process. I'm going to say it's going to be Pook. And the second reviewer is going to be Jim, or the approver for the review. I can choose how many days are between the 2 steps and whether these are work days or calendar days. I can add responses. I'm going to add a new response here, a new approved status. But you can add an unlimited number of different responses. See how I was trying to do approved, but it was telling me that it already existed. So I'm going to see here, approve for second review, and I can change the icon of that. And then at the bottom, I can choose where I want my files to go once the files are approved. So you can select the folder that already exists in your project if you have a folder for that, or create a folder in that moment. So I'm just going to send these approved reviews to the management folder. and click OK. And I have options here to update my attributes. And last but not least, I can add some notes to this. So I'm just going to say this is going to be my default review workflow. I save it, and now I'm ready to create a review. I click on Create Review, and I'm going to choose which file or group of files I'm going to send for this review. So I'm going to go to my Set folder, and I'm going to choose my ground floor plan, which is a single PDF. I'm going to click Create. And I can choose my workflow, the one that we just took. But look how even here I can change who the person is in charge is if I have to. I'm going to give this review a name. So it's just the sheet. And this is going to be the review for those changes that we marked up in the storage closet. So storage closet changes, and I could just click Submit. And now it's just telling me whether I want an email notification. So an extra notification via email for my reviewers. I can hit send. And if I click here on my review, I can see it is now in the ball is now in Pook's court, and she has to come in here and start the review. I can see my documents here and the progress of my review via the activity log on the lower right corner. So now let's take a look at how do we create a transmittal. So we click here on Create Transmittal. We select the file, or we can transmit an entire folder if necessary. Well, we're going to create a transmittal here with the set that we just published, or just to show you, you can choose the entire folder. So important that we give our transmittal a name. So in this case, this is going to be the DD set. We're going to choose who are the recipients for this transmittal. Notice how now I can choose an entire company. So if I need to send this to a subcontractor or to a consultant, I can send it to the entire company. When I say the entire company, I mean the entire company, the people that are added to that company in my project. So not really the entire company, just to clarify. So I'm going to say here, this is a DD set version number 5. And I can also choose whether I want all of my recipients to know who the other recipients are or not. So now my transmittal has been created. I can click on it just to get some details about that transmittal, even download the contents as a zip file. And if I go to my files and I look at the activity log for that file, I'm going to see immediately that I sent that transmittal. So if you're working on a team with a lot of people, you can always know what is going on with each of the files. You can see here everything that has changed. And if I looked at that single PDF that I used for the review, it is also going to be logged in there. So very importantly for collaboration and for knowing, I can also export this activity log and save it for record keeping, and even send it as an attachment via email, as you can see here. So now we're going to see what we can do with DWG files on the cloud. And so this is on the web, right? Without leaving the platform. So you can see here, I clicked on one of my files and it took me to the layout, but I can also look at model space. So I can't interact with this file like editing it, but I can add notes to it and I can create issues from it as well. Just to show you here my drawing. So I'm going to create an issue with the issues tool. And I'm going to say this is client feedback for this window here next to the tub. Just zoom in a little bit and clicking here to add my issue. Immediately I get my issues dialog on the right. So I'm just going to add a little description, just clarifying to remove the window. I can see who are the people that are watching this. So who will be watching meaning reviewing. And I can also say when's the due date. And I can add other reference to these, like another file or other documents in my project. So now that my issue has been created, I click here on the issues log on the left side and I see my issue is added to the list. Now I close out of the viewer and I go into my issues tool. I click on it and I see all of my information. And after creating my issue, I can assign it to someone. So I am going to assign it also to Jim. You can see here it is immediately listed in the activity log, the changes that I just made. I can also create an issue through here and the process will be reversed. So I create my issue and then add it to the document. So now I'm going to show you how we open one of these drawings in AutoCAD Web. So I choose the drawing and I click open in AutoCAD Web and it'll automatically take me to AutoCAD Web. If you have an AutoCAD subscription, you already have access to the AutoCAD Web at no extra cost. So you can see here my tools. I have some tools that I'm familiar with in AutoCAD. I'm looking at my layout. I can toggle between my layout and my model space. And I'm just going to show you here, make a little change. I'm going to add some planters here on my terrace. I'm going to copy this one 2 more times. So I have access to my same commands. If I type CO, I'm going to toggle the copy command. And now that I'm ready and I made some changes, you can see other tools are available here like trim, extend, chamfer, revision clouds, and text. I also have access to my list of layers. I have access to extras and blocks. So after I am done, I can save my drawing. It's saving. I go back to Autodesk Docs and I see here that my changes are loading and my version will increase because I just saved my drawing. Now, if I open my drawing in my viewer in Autodesk Docs, I'm immediately going to see the changes that I just made in AutoCAD Web on my layout and in my model space. So I hope you enjoyed our workflow demo. These are only some of the features that are available and some of the workflows that you can do and leverage as a team and as an individual when you're working in AutoCAD and you're using Autodesk Docs.